a rum maker who also does illegal business. Tommy Shelby is the head of the Peaky Blinders, who is a gang who also does illegal business. Tommy's brother Arthur was in prison for I forgot what, but Alfie helps him get out. So Tommy and Alfie end up coming together in Alfie's rum factory to discuss how much of Tommy's business should be paid to Alfie in order to basically be even for helping his brother get out. Because obviously Alfie is a businessman. He's not going to do it for free. He doesn't really know the Shelby brothers. He doesn't care if Arthur's in prison or not, to be honest. And they take it to the absolute extreme, like threatening to kill each other. So Alfie and Tommy on the phone had originally discussed that Alfie would be receiving 20% of Tommy's export business for helping get Arthur out of prison. But when he gets there, Tommy gives him the contract. They talk a little bit. And then all of a sudden he's like, well, I had my lawyer draw this up. And this says right here that you're going to give me 100% of your business. And basically, if you don't, I'm going to kill you. And Tommy, being the absolute genius that he is, on his way in, walking into the rum factory, he sets a hand grenade that could blow up the entire factory and kill them all. And he tells Alfie this. He says, well, on my way in, I stopped to tie my shoelace. And he looks to the guy that escorted him and said, isn't that a fact? So now he has that credibility.
No, he says,
he actually did that.
Is that a fact?
He says, on my way in, I stopped to tie my shoelace. Isn't that a fact?
And then I'll play the guy. He goes, yes, he did stop to tie his shoelace.
Alfie,
it's Tommy Shelby. Alfie, he stopped to tie his shoelace.
So, again, he tells Alfie this. He says, on my way in, I stopped to tie my shoelace. And that a fact is his
By the way, we haven't cussed yet, so don't.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. I want to.
I know, me too.
His assistant, I guess, for Alfie tells him, yeah, he stopped to tie his shoelace. And that's when Tommy tells him, I put a hand grenade there. It's on a wire trip. There's someone waiting for me outside. If I don't walk out that door with what I want, I will blow us all to hell. So now they're both respecting the fact that this dude's going to kill me if I don't give him what he wants.
He not capping. And then so Alfie pulls the gun on Tommy. While Tommy's speaking, Alfie has no respect for Tommy.
Yeah.
And he has Alfie doesn't believe that they're on the same level of respect.
Pull the gun on
he's straight up pulls a blicky on Tommy in the middle of him talking, and he says, Tom, I'm about to shoot you, lad.
And Tommy doesn't even skip a beat. He just continues telling the story of how he has an associate waiting for him outside.
So how's the... Okay, go ahead.
I was just going to give it that little.
You go ahead and finish the story.
It's crazy what they become. And he didn't believe that Tommy would be able to blow up his own rum factory. So Tommy references something he's done in the past where Tommy blew up his own pub. I don't know if it was with the grenade or not, but he blew up his own pub for insurance money. So now Alfie's like, man, this dude just likes blowing people up, I guess.
Yeah. There's no cap in his rap.
And it's obviously hard to tell the body language and how they're expressing themselves with just me explaining it. We'll leave a link again. It's how long was it?
It was 10 minutes. It's very entertaining.
It's short and it's entertaining.
No problem.
But you'll see their body languages.
You're listening.
Their
If
facial
you're entertained by
expressions.
this, then you're going to be entertained by that. Trust me. It's Tom Hardy.
If I'm
It's
wearing
Tom
this
Hardy.
one,
I'd shock him.
Then you better hand over all your trinkets, mate.
So you touched on the body language.
Yeah. And facial expressions.
And
if you want to take even a deeper dive into that video, there's a 30-minute video breaking down all of Tommy's body language.
We'll add that too.
Yeah.
So how would you so you seen that video? That's an example of a confrontation with a stubborn person that we just literally happened to watch it before this podcast. It did kind of inspire us to make this video. So a few things in that. They agreed on a deal beforehand. Tommy comes in and obviously Alfie probably didn't respect Tommy enough to believe that Tommy wouldn't agree to his deal. And that Tom and he would business. Yes. So at first Alfie agrees with Tom that Tom will give him 20% so that Alfie could help Tom's brother get out of
prison.
Get out of the shell.
Get out of jail free card.
And then Tommy shows up to sign so that he can pay Alfie the 20% for helping his brother get out. And when Tommy shows up, Alfie basically pulls a gun on him and says, "You're gonna sign over 100%." And so right there, he's a Karen. I'm just kidding.
Karen
So
Solomons.
yeah, so 100%. Alfie definitely does not respect Tommy on the same level, and they butt heads. They've butt heads. That wasn't the first season with them together, right? That's the second one with them together.
No, I think this is the
So
first
they
one
already
because
had
it was in
conflict.
season 2.
Oh, okay, so
And Alfie wasn't in season 1.
yeah, so Alfie's already, yeah, you're right. So Alfie's already showing that he doesn't believe that they're of the same stature, if they have the same power. He believes that he could let him walk into his place, which is another power move, having them come to your environment.
Yeah.
And having Tommy basically just be taken advantage of. From the start of that scene, Alfie is establishing his dominance. Tommy walks in. Tommy's going to the place with two, and right now I'm referencing Laws of Power from Robert Greene's book. Tommy goes to Alfie's spot with another person, and before Tommy could walk in, one of Alfie's number one rule. The first way that he established power is by having Tommy come to him. The second way is that
acknowledge Tommy when Tommy walked in. He kind of just sat there,
Yeah.
kept doing what he was doing.
and another way, now that I'm
As
getting
if to
into
say,
it,
you're not important.
yeah, now that I'm getting into it, is Alfie didn't even greet Tommy. Alfie had one of his subordinates greet Tommy at the door. And then after, now I'm just naming off a bunch of ways. So, and then another way is he didn't even let the other guy come in. And that's giving Tommy another reason to feel fearful that he doesn't have his backup. Tommy's walking in vulnerable without the person that he came in with. So Tommy goes in alone into this huge rum factory with all of Alfie's men. And then on the way over there, Tommy's plan was he stops, he ties his shoelace, and then he says that, was he bluffing? Yeah, he was bluffing, huh?
With the grenade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he stops, he ties his shoelace on the way over there, and then that's when he sits down, and when Alfie threatens him, he says, "I stopped to tie my shoelace, I planted a grenade, we're all going down if I don't walk out the door with my associate." So right away, Alfie was planning on taking advantage of Tommy, and the way that Tommy got out of that. By the way, how much did Tommy end up giving up? So they went from 20% to 100%,
Yeah.
and then they kept negotiating down between
It went to like 65. And
in between Alfie being scared and not believing him, and being scared and then not believing him, blah blah blah, and then threatening him. They settled at 35. And you actually asked me, what did you ask me after we watched that?
Who do you think won that negotiation?
Yeah, who do you think won that negotiation? So who do you think won and why?
Well, it depends. If Tommy, like you said, you brought it up. If Tommy was going in there, Alfie's probably going to try to take more from me, so I'm comfortable giving up this much. Then I would say Tommy won. But if Tommy was only prepared to give up 20, which I honestly doubt he was, because his face he was just unfazed by everything. So yeah, I honestly say Tommy won that.
Yeah. So initially, Tommy goes from 20% to, and then after to the negotiation, they settle at 35%, and then they go. And then, so Lucas asked me, who do you think won that negotiation? And I mean, looking at it on paper, going from 20% to 35%, you would say that Alfie won, the guy that tried to take advantage of Tommy.
But Tommy got it from 100 to 35.
Yeah,
kind of.
That's what I'm saying. We don't even know. So if Tommy went from 20 to 35, yes, he's not sacrificing everything, which is great, but he still went from 20 to 35. So Alfie still got more just by being a badass, and being a stubborn person to deal with. What I believe, and I believe this, and also I'm saying a way that Tommy, if you frame this, not even if you frame this, if this is true, and Tommy plays a very, very strategic character in the show. So this is not far off by any means to believe. Tommy knows how Alfie is. Tommy knows the kind of character that Alfie is. They butt heads a lot, but they have respect for each other because they are exactly the same. Alfie even says that, like, men like us, something like there's no rest for men like us, something like that. Actually, I think it was the inspector, but I lost my train of thought. So what isn't far off to believe is that Tommy already knows the kind of person that Alfie is. So Tommy could have been prepared to go into that negotiation. And when you know that you're going to go into a conversation, a negotiation, and you need something from this person, you have to have a conversation about it. You don't know if this person's going to give it up to you. You want to prepare for it. One of the most basic rules of influence is you ask for something smaller first, and a way to do that in negotiation is called anchoring. So what I told Lucas was, Alfie did win if 20% was the most Tommy wanted to give. I said, but what if Tommy was willing to give 50% and 20% was a low anchor? And if that's the case and he only gave up 35%, then Tommy definitely won that negotiation. So that's something to keep in mind when going into negotiation. You know you're going to have to ask someone, or you know that you want to keep as much equity as possible. Anchoring. And when dealing with stubborn people, you have to anchor strategically with reason and making sure that they're emotionally involved before you even start that. Because if they're not even emotionally involved, then you're not going to get anywhere anchoring. They're going to be set on a number. But if they're emotionally involved and you are being strategic with your anchoring, meaning if when I mean being strategic with it, I mean you can't just, so Tommy was at Tommy was at 20, Alfie was at 100. Not being strategic about it would be Tommy saying, okay, 10%.
Yeah.
Especially if you're with someone that's stubborn, and we're calling stubborn people Ruby personality, we're red personality, extrovert, task oriented, whatever name you have for them. I call them Rubies. I got that from Dan Locke. If you're not strategic with it, they will see it as complete disrespect from you to them, meaning that you don't even respect them to throw out a decent number. And I mean, in real estate, applying it to me, what people call that in my business is a straight up low ball. So if you anchor stupidly and you just throw out a stupid low number, then the seller will say, oh, why am I going to talk to you if you're just lowballing me? Even if you just built up a bunch of rapport and now you're lowballing me, like you wouldn't do that to your friends. So if you do that to somebody on the phone, that just reminds them who they're on the phone with. So definitely anchor strategically. And I'm sure I'm sure real estate agents do that all the time, right?
Yeah, 100%. People like lowball all the time, and it's like,
yeah,
legally you kind of have to reply to a counter, but a lot of times the sellers are like, fuck that.
Yeah, and some. The Peaky fucking blinders strike again.
So Alfie really said, Tommy, I'm going to fucking shoot you.
I was waiting for that.
Damn, bro. You're doing good.
It was worth it for the Tom Hardy voice. I'm going to fucking shoot you, Tom. You think? Okay, so that's the first part